as well as the as well as the Grim boost from the As One ability. Other than that, there are some very supplemental pieces of support from both these squads. You know, you have the Whimsicott and the Pelipper to support that Eternatus, while Josh has plenty of fake out pressure, a Smeargle, and a Raging Bolt to deal with the Pokemon that could potentially take it out before Calyrex can even move, which is always appreciative of these Pokemon. And now both players are locked in, and we are going to get set to start the 2025 season off with a bang, as this also could be considered the road to Honolulu, Hawaii for the World Championships later in this year in a month's time. Here we go with round number 1 between Brenden and Josh. Josh is going to lead the Raging Bolt and the Rillaboom combination, while Brenden going to lead the Whimsicott and the Eternatus. Eternatus is going to use its pressure ability, so any move that will be used against this Eternatus will be double costed from its power points. Grassy Surge also going to activate here from this Rillaboom. Raging Bolt's booster energy activates its photosynthesis ability to give it a special attack multiplier. The big thing here about Eternatus here is using that Meteor Beam as soon as you possibly can, because as soon as you get it off, Eternatus can just get that big damage boost from that special attack raise with that Meteor Beam or something like that Sludge Wave here. But Brenden gonna take it slow here on this turn 1 with this Protect here on this Eternatus as Rillaboom goes for the Fake Out towards that slot. Raging Bolt does have a Dragon move in this disposal. It is that Dragon Pulse. But first, Whimsicott's gonna use that Fake Tears with the Prankster, gonna lower the special defense harshly on that Raging Bolt, and Calm Mind comes out from this Raging Bolt. Will negate at least one of the special defense drops, but more importantly, I guess a special attack rise to potentially threaten the Eternatus later in the turn. And now the unfortunate thing from this Rillaboom here is that the Rillaboom doesn't really have a lot of options to go here, because like you have grass moves that don't really are not effective against the Eternatus or the Whimsicott. You're really the only options for the Rillaboom in this situation is to go for the U-turn or just hard switch out. As for the Raging Bolt, Dragon Pulse can potentially threaten a one-hit KO onto this Eternatus, as we're going to see its Terastallization here likely onto the Eternatus to avoid that Dragon weakness. And it is the Eternatus going to go ahead and Terastallize into the Fairy typing, flipping the matchup spread on the Dragon type to be now immune to those set moves. And if it goes for the Thunderclap onto this Eternatus, is still not a terrible option to go for here. Whimsicott goes for another Fake Tears onto this Rillaboom for that special defense drop. And what do we see out of this Eternatus? It is a Meteor Beam, so whatever it hits is gonna get hit hard with this Meteor Beam. But the question is, will it land? Because Meteor Beam is not the most accurate move in the world. It will land onto this Assault Vested Rillaboom at -2 special defense. It is enough for the knockout, thanks to the Meteor Beam special attack boost. Now, what does the Raging Bolt go for here? It's a Dragon Pulse, but unfortunately is now a very type Eternatus that it went after. No HP recovery as of late, but this Eternatus now has the steam rolling with that special attack rise. But here comes Incineroar for Josh to hopefully bring out a Fake Out to stop Eternatus temporarily. Here goes. And this is the perfect turn for the Whimsicott go for the Tailwind there for Brenden, because for Brenden, it just gives him the speed boost necessary to have Eternatus at speed most of all his Eternatus can go for, because the more damage you can get here, especially from this Dynamax Cannon, which will hit onto this Raging Bolt at -1 special defense, will easily one-hit KO it with a Dragon weakness. And Incineroar, more importantly, did not go for the Fake Out onto the Eternatus, so that could have been a turn where it could have recovered at least some tempo, but unfortunately, the Fake Out trade-off was definitely worth it to knock out the Whimsicott, but the question becomes for Josh, is it too late? And if you got to ask me, I think it could be too late, depending on how much damage the Calyrex the Shadow Rider does here, as Brenden brings out Golden Go to potentially add on a Sludge Wave option, because the Eternatus is running a Sludge Wave, which hits all foes, as we do see a Calyrex also come out from Josh. We're going to activate that as one ability to negate Fairies with the Unnerve, and then if it gets any KOs, Grimnade activates to get a special attack boost. Calyrex probably has a decent chance to knock out the Golden Go in one hit thanks to the Astral Barrage, but I don't know if it's going to knock out the Eternatus. I think the answer is likely no, and that this Incineroar needs to at least put the gas pedal onto this Eternatus and give it some pressure, alongside getting this Calyrex the time that it needs to potentially set up a Nasty Pot or get that Astral Barrage out in the first place. For now, it protects. Next move here coming out, Golden Go running for a Thunderbolt onto the Incineroar because it doesn't really have a good stat towards. Good move to use against any of these Pokemon. We do see the Sludge Wave come out. It will be protected by the Calyrex. It won't affect the Steel type of Golden Go. It will hit the Incineroar at +1 special attack. It is not enough for the knockout. There is no poison. Here goes the Flare Blitz. This will knock out Golden Go, but it will take Incineroar down with it. Now it becomes a 2v1. And the 2v1 comes from Brenden having a spare Pokemon in the back, as Josh is now down 3 with the Raging Bolt and the Rillaboom going down earlier, and we do see Brenden has a Rillaboom of his own. So Fake Out unfortunately not an option, but Wood Hammer plus a Dynamax Cannon should be enough to knock out the Calyrex, barring that Terra Fairy that the Calyrex provides. If it goes Terra Fairy, then you're wide open towards that Sludge Wave. If you don't, yeah, oh, actually interesting enough going for another Meteor Beam, going for another special attack boost, and as well playing around the Terra. Josh that he could have went for. Here's Wood Hammer. How much damage is it doing? Around 75%. That's actually a lot of damage towards that Calyrex, as it will eat that Citrus Berry to get 25% of that HP back. Here's Astro Barrage coming up from this Calyrex Shadow Rider. How much damage is it doing? It is not doing a whole lot to both of these Pokemon. Here comes more Grassy Terrain recovery for both Brenden and for Josh. And thanks to that Tailwind, I don't know if Calyrex has a win condition to get back into this game. Grassy Terrain will be gone. So your grass moves will be doing less damage. This has to be a protect turn from Josh because you can't get hit by Meteor Beam this turn, because if you get hit by Meteor Beam, you're not gonna get knocked out. And so it's essentially a stall turn, because not only do you stall out the Meteor Beam and the potential attack from this the potential Wood Hammer from this Rillaboom, but you also probably stall out the Tailwind, because the Tailwind goes away. Your Calyrex is now the fastest thing in play, and you need a couple critical hits to get back into this game. And so I believe this has to be the turn that Josh goes for the Terra Fairy, because you cannot risk going for that going for that Dynamax Cannon and have it affect you. But unfortunately, there wasn't oh, never mind. That Astro Barrage is not enough to knock out either Pokemon. Here goes the Sludge Wave, gonna knock out the Rillaboom, but it will not knock out the Calyrex because of that resistance from that Ghost typing. Do we see a Poison though towards the Calyrex as the Rillaboom goes down to its own Sludge Wave from its partner Eternatus? With Astro Barrage enough to knock it out through a single target Astro Barrage, because its Calyrex cannot knock out the Eternatus. The game is effectively over. Here it comes. The Astro Barrage at neutral is enough to knock out the Eternatus, and Josh wins game 1 by the skin of his teeth. And that was the hard part, because Brenden, for both of those turns that he went for the Sludge Wave, went for after the Terra turn. Because if you go for the Terra there against Terra Fairy Calyrex, you get super effective damage and you win the game outright, but there's also a risk of going for Dynamax Cannon, because if you go for the Dynamax Cannon and you hit a Terra Fairy, then the Dynamax Cannon is effectively negated and you don't get damage, you get Astro Barrage, and you get into the same situation as before. But Josh effectively called out Brenden saying, hey, I know you're not going for Dynamax Cannon, you're gonna think I'm gonna go for the Terra Fairy. And so, unfortunately, I believe that game honestly came down to a mind game from both Brenden and Josh. You know, who would Terra, who wouldn't, who would use the Dragon move, who wouldn't. I mean, Josh got caught by the Terra Fairy Eternatus from the game 1 in turn number 2, and then Josh got Brenden back with the no Terra when he could have went for the Dynamax Cannon instead of the Sludge Wave. I also find interesting that this Raging Bolt is also Calm Mind plus the Booster Energy special attack multiplier, because that's a lot of damage that the Raging Bolt can get. But judging by the team that Josh is running with the double Fake Out support and that fast Calyrex and the Follow Me Smeargle, it probably is warranted that you could get away with setting up that much damage from this Raging Bolt. I guess the question now is, can Brenden win those mind games he could have won in game number 1 and get back into the set? If Josh wins game 2, the set is over, and he goes to for first win. The new leads from both these trainers, Josh on the Smeargle and the Calyrex, and Brenden on the Whimsicott and the Eternatus. Meteor Beam is likely an option from this Eternatus. Again, you gotta get it out as quickly as you can to get that special attack boost as soon as you possibly can. The Smeargle, though, can go for the Follow Me to try to redirect the Meteor Beam away from the Calyrex and get up that nasty plot that it really wants to get. And when you do get that nasty plot up, Calyrex just goes hard on damage, especially with that Astro Barrage. And it can hit the Eternatus super effectively with the Side Shock should choose to. So I believe this will be a Follow Me turn as the Eternatus protects. I would have to assume so. But here comes the Terrestrialization. This has to be from Josh this time around. It is Calyrex. It will Terra to Fairy typing. It becomes immune to Dynamax Cannon, but it's no longer immune to that Sludge Wave as it becomes super effective if this is the call out Brenden goes for. Here comes Nasty Plot. No Follow Me in sight. No Prankster in sight from this Whimsicott either. That's a big special attack boost into this Moonblast from this Smeargle, which only does around half HP. Takes a special attack drop as well. Here's Meteor Beam. Where did this go? And more importantly, does it connect? And the answer is yes, and it will double target the Smeargle. And that is the end of that Pokemon, as it will get knocked out, unfortunately. Relatively easy turn for Josh there. However, Tailwind plus Sludge Wave is now an option as Incineroar comes into play for a Fake Out Pressure. Which unfortunately is not going to work on the Whimsicott because it is holding a Cobra Cloak item, and Cobra Cloak negates secondary effects. And if you negate those secondary effects, you are going to be able to at least get that Tailwind off or that Fake Tear should you choose to. Unfortunately though, Prankster doesn't work on Dark Types like Incineroar, so it won't be able to work out. A Protect comes out anyway from this Whimsicott to make sure it doesn't get KO'd by the Astro Mirage. And there's a Eternatus going for the Protect as well, scouting the Fake Out, which is likely coming out from the Incineroar, and it will probably go. It will be going to the Eternatus. Is there a second Nasty Plot though? That is the punish if Josh goes for that read. No, it's just an Astro Barrage. There was no second Nasty Plot. And now this turn becomes a little tricky for Josh because there is a Terra Steel available from this Whimsicott, but there is also the risk of that Astro Barrage just doing a lot of damage at +2 special attack. If you go for the Sludge Wave, you are likely knocking out the Calyrex. I don't think you would knock out the Incineroar based on the calculations we had in the first game. And so it just becomes a question of like, okay, am I fine losing Whimsicott here, or do I just go for the Terra onto this Eternatus to make sure that I don't take as much damage from this Incineroar? Because this Incineroar, while it does carry Flare Blitz, okay, I actually just read the team sheet and it's not what I thought it was. Here comes the Terra Fairy anyway from this Eternatus to make sure it is defensively capable against that potential Raging Bolt in the back. Here's Tailwind from this Whimsicott. It will allow Eternatus to outspeed all of Josh's Pokemon. Here's a +1 Sludge Wave hitting every Pokemon. It will knock out both the Whimsicott and the Calyrex. Incineroar takes less than 50% health from that Sludge Wave at +1 special attack. There goes those Pokemon. What does the Incineroar do here? That was big damage from Brenden, because not only do you get rid of the Calyrex, which is threatening a lot of damage with that Astro Barrage at +2, but that's a big threat gone down for Brenden because if you see a Urshifu Rapid Strike in the back or anything of the like, then you will be taking a lot of damage with that Searching Strikes later on, but at least it'll be mitigated by the Rillaboom. But unfortunately, Incineroar managed to land a critical hit burn on the Flare Blitz into the Eternatus, and it is Urshifu Rapid Strike in the back for Josh. So here comes the tricky part for Brenden to come back into this game. Dynamax Cannon is your best option against both these Pokemon, but Rillaboom, no, that's the easy move actually. Going from Fake Out onto the Urshifu will negate its turn, and yeah, Josh sees the writing on the wall, unfortunately. Brenden, with the pressure the Eternatus mounted, will win game 2 and force the game free. That's the pressure that Brenden just puts on with that Eternatus. Once that Meteor Beam lands and gets the speed control from the Whimsicott, it can just steamroll through teams like it didn't even care about what Josh had. But more importantly, losing this Miracle turn 1 was pivotal, because not only did you not go for the Spore, I don't think the Smeargle even outsped the Eternatus or the Whimsicott. It's actually rather slow. Because by the time that the Smeargle was about to move, it was knocked out by a Meteor Beam after the Whimsicott went first, and then the Meteor Beam landed. Yeah, that Smeargle is actually not that fast. And so for Josh, looking into this game 3, you have to be able to at least find a way to deal with this Eternatus, because from the looks of it, the Raging Bolt looks like the best answer towards it, because Dragon Pulse strikes the super effective damage, especially with the damage multiplier it gets from the Photosynthesis booster energy. But even if it does Terra Fairy, you have Thunderclap to at least combat it. And so it just becomes, how do you get Smeargle into a position where you could Spore? Or how do you get enough breakout pressure to make sure that you can just continuously pressure the Eternatus or its partner and force out Protects? Both players are now locked into game 3. Brenden and Josh, both our first rematch of 2025 and our first video game challenge for 2025. And we are going to find out who's going to take the first set of 2025, at least in the new circuit season. Or if these guys are playing in Worlds, how much prep will they get? And here comes game 3 here. The selections from both these trainers will be what will be pivotal in this game. Josh once again going to Calyrex and Smeargle. It'll be another game for Brenden to go Whimsicott and Eternatus. But I have a feeling there will be a switch up in this turn, because there is a point in which the Smeargle could have went for Follow Me the previous game. It chose not to, but it couldn't even withstand 2 hits from both the Eternatus and the Whimsicott. Highly likely that it will go for the Spiky Shield in this game number 3 here, and then allow that Calyrex to go for a relatively risky Nasty Pot, depending on what happens in this turn. Brenden gonna go ahead and Terra. We've seen the Eternatus Terra 2 times in a row. We're gonna see the Terra 3 times in a row for that Fairy typing. And now it just comes down to what the Smeargle does, because if the Smeargle is able to go for that Follow Me, then that telegraphs, yep, it goes for a Follow Me again. That's probably telegraphing of another Nasty Bot coming from this Calyrex Shadow Rider. Whimsicott going for the Fake Tears and actually catches it, not going for the Moonblast this time, so it will be able to at least go down to Focus Sash and survive the turn. Nasty Bot comes out for Calyrex, so it will get more damage on the following turn should it choose to go for another attack. Meteor Beam, if this misses, this Smeargle's in a great spot. If this Meteor Beam misses, then the Smeargle is just here to stay, and it does land though, so it will go down to Focus Sash, which unfortunately was not the repeat of game number 2, as Whimsicott went for the attack on the first turn of game number 2. Now Moody's going to activate from the Smeargle, looking at the defense boost, and it will lose the special defense stat that it already lost 2 of it. So it is now a -3 special defense and a +2 defense. And now that the Eternatus is committed to that Terra Fairy, you actually are no longer weak at Psyshock, which would have done heavy damage towards that Eternatus, meaning Astral Barrage is the option here from Josh. Only problem is that as long as this Smeargle has a chance to go for that Follow Me, you will be able to redirect it away from the Calyrex and let it go unimpeded with its attacks. And here comes a Wide Guard just to make sure Sludge Wave's not an option either, as the Sludge Wave would have hit everybody in that scenario. Here comes Astral Barrage from this Calyrex. This will knock up the Whimsicott, and it will put Eternatus at around 55 damage taken, 55%. As a clarification, Grenade gonna activate on that knockout to raise his special attack further, but here comes Dynamax Cannon, and it hit onto this Calyrex Shadow Rider, and oh wow, it actually is not enough for the knockout. And we'll activate the Citrus Berry as well, so we'll get a bit of the HP back. Smeargle's attack will rise from Moody, and it loses a special attack stat. Priority is still an option from Brenden should he go for it, but as well, Golden Go with the Make It Rain should knock out both Pokemon from that range, meaning there should be, oh wait, as you see, a little bit of a line of play I think Brenden can go for with this Golden Go. So you go for Golden Go, you go Make It Rain because you outspeed all of Josh's Pokemon because there's no speed control. You go for another Meteor Beam just to get another special attack drop, or Force Protects, because if you go for the Make It Rain, you Force Protects from both these Pokemon, you get a free special attack boost, you get the attack on the next turn, It just depends on which slot you go for, or if Josh has any fake out pressure in the back. But should you not go for that play, then you should probably just go for the Dynamax Cannon just to make sure you catch a switching on somewhere, because a lot of Josh's team does not appreciate taking Dynamax Cannon. Here's the protect from the Calyrex. Do we see the Spiky Shield come out from the Smeargle, or will it just try to go for the Spore? Okay, it's just protects next. We still don't know what the Smeargle does. We know what the Golden Goal will likely do. Smeargle goes for Spiky Shield. And now do we see, yeah, we do see Make It Rain come out, as is the Choice Scarf block from this Golden Go from Brenden. Here goes another Moody Boost from the Smeargle, more attack boosts, and it loses another special attack stat, so it is effectively becoming a physical attacker, although this thing has no damaging moves. And it just, once again, Josh, the easy move is just go for, oh wait, there is no easy move because you do not know it Make It Rain knocks out the Calyrex. It gets a double protect. So it went for a second protect in a row, and it means that Wide Guard will be blocked off from allowing that Make It Rain to get the knockout, so that means Astral Barrage will be able to come out and knock out the Golden Go in one hit. The problem has become evident with that Wide Guard from the Smeargle, as not only do you block Make It Rain, but you also will block Sludge Wave from working against this team that you would likely not be prepared for. And yeah, we see the fist bump unfortunately from Brenden, and that likely signals that Josh is going to win game number 3 here. Brenden unfortunately does not see a way out, because as long as you have Wide Guard in that turn, and because you had no speed control against this Smeargle, you are going to get redirected. Ooh, speed drop. That probably isn't going to matter now. But because you have Follow Me redirection from this Rillaboom, that means Calyrex just gets another Astral Barrage off, and at +4 should be more than enough to knock out both these Pokemon. Grass grows the covered battlefield for this Grassy Search Rillaboom. We have to see what this Eternatus does here, because it all comes down to it doing damage towards probably its own partner if it has to go for that Sludge Wave, but I think Smeargle has to go for the Follow Me here just to make sure that you get the damage off onto the Calyrex. Here comes the Protect from the Calyrex, unfortunately. Smeargle tries to go for a Spiky Shield, but you cannot be doing that as soon as you go for a Wide Guard, because it will fail all of those times. Rillaboom goes for that Grassy Glide. It will not hit the Calyrex. Here's some Sludge Wave. It will knock out the Smeargle, but will knock out the Rillaboom at +1 special attack. Through that Assault Vest. The damage comes out. It is not enough. And there is no poison, unfortunately, from that Sludge Wave into the Rillaboom for Josh, because Josh would have loved to take that poison, because it probably would have knocked out Rillaboom from that range. Josh is yet to go for his other Pokemon. It is Incineroar, so the damage output from the Rillaboom will be weakened, as Calyrex probably will be able to survive the turn now. I believe Fake Out plus Astral Barrage should be enough for Josh to win the game, because if you go Fake Out onto this Eternatus, you're not threatened by a KO onto this Calyrex, and you're outspeeding the Eternatus. Rillaboom's going to flinch here, going for that Grassy Glide. Here's Astral Barrage, and that is it. Josh Denk going to win round number 1 of the first video game challenge here at Psychocerta Plays with a 2-1 victory over Brenden, Moses, and the Eternatus. Congratulations to Josh for winning that set, and we are already going underway with that VGC Best of 3 action here for 2025 season, as well as the road to Honolulu, Hawaii. Congratulations to Josh for winning that game, and I believe Brenden still has a good shot to make it out of the Swiss rounds. So we do have 6 rounds of Swiss today, and I promise you, you do not want to miss any of this action, because we have so many Pokemon, we have so many restricted Pokemon, we have so many people trying to get their tickets punched to Worlds, or at least, oh wait, I should redirect that. People preparing for Worlds, or people preparing for their next punching ticket to Worlds. Anyway, that's it for round 1. I'll be right back. We'll be right back, and we'll be taking a short break before round number 2.